I love Lupin the Third, the long-running anime series dating back to the 1970s following the titular gentleman thief Lupin and his ragtag team stealing the greatest treasures and secrets the world has to offer, all while the seductive Fujiko Mine tries to get her way and the fumbling Interpol detective Zenigata tries to put them all behind bars. It's a classic that has directly and indirectly impacted the last 40 years of Japanese animation, and it's an essential part of anime history that holds not only some of the most fun, fast-paced visual storytelling, but also produced some of the greatest creators of modern animation, such as giving a young, simple co-director trying to make his way through the industry the chance of recognition he finally deserved, and to move on to become the most notable director of all time. From series to spin-offs to dozens and dozens of films and specials spanning dozens and dozens of years, Lupin is one of the most widely appearing anime characters in history, with his influence reaching even shoutouts in modern rap music.
Guess who's on third? Lupe still like Lupin the Third.
It's not perfect, and my goodness can it be inconsistent at times, to say the least, but it's always fun, whether you're laughing at it or with it. And with the newest series, Part 5, airing during the spring 2018 anime season, nobody is really talking about it, and I feel the two biggest detriments to that are its age as well as its branding. Lupin is a classic in name only, not in age. It's a series constantly trying to change and push its formula and its characters throughout its generations of airtime, and modernizing the format to appeal to current viewers while at the same time never losing what made it a classic to begin with. Watching the series invokes a sense of nostalgia. Even if you've never watched a single episode prior, you can still feel the weight and the prestige that comes from such a long-running, well-regarded franchise. From the Saturday morning cartoon feel of the wacky balls-to-the-wall antics of the Red Coat series to the dark, depressing but sexy and stylish 2012 spin-off A Woman Called Fujiko Mine, any given return of Lupin tries to do something new while at the same time carries on its core theming, which have always been the sense of adventure laced with the macabre and far darker aftermath or twists that can come from the life of a thief whose moral compass changes as frequently as the next treasure or target he may eye. This macabre element to the series adds a significant amount of weight and intrigue to what is on the surface a very simple formula and setup, with a main cast of characters who may often find themselves in peril, but in reality no substantial harm ever comes to them. It's a tonal balance that treads the fine line of being thematically inconsistent and jarring, but instead creates something that can only be defined as, well, Lupin. When browsing the new seasonal chart for any given season of anime, I feel most of us are guilty of passing by any given sequel or spin-off to an anime we haven't watched before. Just how it is. Basically, any anime title with a number attached to it is glossed over. So when it comes to a series like Lupin, which is a name that may be in the back of many viewers' minds, comes with just not one, but two numbers attached to the title, and with any given number, the higher it gets, the more those will more likely stay away. Looking at the newest series, Part 5, as a new viewer, I wouldn't see an established franchise that must be of a higher quality to still be around, but instead a massive wall, one that requires dozens of hours of my life to simply catch up on. But in reality, the barrier of entry for any given part of Lupin, whether we're talking about the 70s or the 2010s, is surprisingly low, which I don't feel a lot of people realize. Each part is independent of the one that came before it, and the small cast of characters can be visually defined in the opening sequence alone, instead of a throwaway 24-minute recap filler episode. Lupin is a thief, the cunning lead of the story. Jigen shoots stuff, Goemon cuts stuff, Fujiko is and Zenigata is pursuing them, but he has a good heart. The rest of the characterization comes from the personality of the animation and character design, rather than expositional scenes that slow down the series' main focus, which is first and foremost the adventure aspect. Lupin is at its best when it's a spectacle, and while a lot of the earlier series haven't aged all too well, the situations, set pieces, and the writing are instead the spectacle and the draw for crafting these smaller scale, but larger than life independent adventure stories. So how does Part 5, which at the time of this recording just aired its third episode, stack up to the series that have come before it? Really, really well, surprisingly. Its France setting not only sets up for some of the best background art and most varied location the series has ever seen, but also looks like it will have an interesting story role, as France is essentially where the Lupin name and legacy actually began. Its primary focus on technology puts an interesting spin on the elusive thief who, before would only voluntarily reveal himself with the use of a calling card, is now the center of the public eye in what becomes a twisted survival game. And while I don't want to go too deep into spoilers, as the fun twists and turns are very Lupin-esque, I should really stop using Lupin as an adjective, it's a great introductory arc that sets the pace for a series that feels like a good return to form, while at the same time an interesting, albeit silly and over-the-top take on modern technology, ranging from drones to cybersecurity to the deep web. It sets up for an interesting environment to a thief when most of today's highly regarded possessions are intangible and digital, but we'll see where the rest of the series takes this direction.
これを引けば首が落ちる。僕の勝ちだ。その腕で引けるのか。